Hi guys, my name is David and welcome to episode 5 of Grimm Tuesdays. Today I am going to be reviewing the story called The 12 Brothers. I must confess guys that this is probably my favourite Grimm story fairy tale that I've actually read so far in this series. But with that said, I was really shocked that this was in essentially a children's book. I was shocked because this covers murder, child endangerment, and incest. I'm still completely shocked that this was advertised to children. Please let me know, was you read this story as a child? I would really find it extremely interesting what you made of it when you read it as a child. So this is the longest tale that I've read in this collection so far. And this focuses around a king and the queen. And they have 12 sons. And the king, one day, for no apparent reason, says that his 13th child, if it's a daughter, then he will kill or have all of his 12 sons murdered. It's never explained why he wants this. Maybe he really wanted a girl. But it seemed a bit of a very strange thing. I had to reread that section of the tale over and over again just to make sure, okay, did I read that right? But no, essentially, these 12 young boys who haven't done anything wrong, who don't actually have anything wrong with their personalities or characters, their lives are up for debate whether the next child that this couple actually conceives and produces is a female or a male. But this is just the king's idea. The queen doesn't really have any say in it, but she talks to her youngest son, who is called Benjamin or Ben, and she takes him to a room where the 12 wooden coffins that the king has made specifically or had made specifically for his 12 sons in case the 13th child is a female. And she tells him, look, these coffins were made for you and your brothers in case the 13th child happens to be a female. And she basically tells Benjamin to take all of his brothers and basically flee into the woods and to escape the king's wrath or whatever. And she tells him that every day to actually climb up the tallest tree that they can find and look at the castle, and if they see I think it's a white flag, it is a female that has been born and they know that their lives are in danger. Or if a red flag is flying, that it is a boy and they are safe to return to their kingdom and their lives aren't in danger anymore. So the 12 brothers, while in the woods, they find this strange cottage where they essentially live. And because in the book, Benjamin is described by his older brothers to be the weakest, and because he's the youngest, they assign him the role of staying at the house and cooking and just general maintenance of the building. And we find out that the brothers are so enraged that their lives have been put in danger, essentially because if this 13th child happens to be a daughter or a female, and they are so filled with hatred and rage that they feel that they have to avenge what has been done to them by killing every maiden that they see. So when Benjamin finds that the white flag is flying, and this symbolizes that the 13th child is a daughter, and she grows up and she finds out about her 12 brothers, and because this all happens before she was even born, so she is filled with so much compassion and sympathy towards her brothers and what has resulted to them because of her birth. So she goes off into the woods and to try to find them. And because she doesn't know what they look like, this can be a bit difficult. So she comes across the cottage and Benjamin, and because Ben is a very sympathetic and kind-hearted individual, they find out that they are both related, and Benjamin tells her, look, to hide. So when the brothers come back to the house, because they go out every single day to hunt and kill and bring back, deer and pigeons and anything that they can find, rabbits and all that type of stuff. Maybe if you're a vegan, that might put you off or may trigger you. But he tells his sister to hide, and she does this. And when the brothers come back, they have a word with Benjamin, and Benjamin tells them, look, promise me that you won't kill the first maiden that you see. And they say, yeah, sure, we'll promise. We promise not to do that. So the princess comes out, and Benjamin tells her, look, this is our sister. She's come to find us. And you would think that they would be filled with rage. I mean, this is the individual that caused them to go into exile and to flee from their kingdom. But no, they embrace her, they love her, they worship her, they cherish her, and they want to protect her at all costs. So one day, when the brothers are out hunting, Benjamin and their sister are in the house cleaning and maintenance and all that type of stuff. And the sister goes off to a garden that's attached to the cottage, and she finds these 12 flowers. Now in the book it says that they are 12 lilies, but in brackets it says which one calls also African marigolds. Now if I can find a picture of what African marigolds look like, I'll have it on the screen just so you can have a visual. But she sees these 12 flowers and she thinks, okay, this will be a nice gift for me to give to my brothers. But when she picks them, as soon as she picks these flowers, each and every single one of the brothers, including Benjamin, is turned into a crow. So as soon as she plucks the flower out of the ground and it's severed from the earth, that specific brother is turned into a crow. So she is completely astonished by this, and then she finds this elderly woman that appears out of nowhere. I mean, she might be a witch or a sorcerer who actually knows, but she tells the princess what's happened, and the princess says, oh, there must be some way to reverse this spell or incantation or whatever. And this woman tells her, yes, there is one way that the brothers can be turned back into their human selves. And that is, the princess cannot speak one word or laugh for 7 years. If she does speak one word or laugh in that 7-year period, her brothers will be doomed to live as crows for the rest of their natural lives. And because she loves her brothers so much, she does this, or she agrees to this rather. So shortly after this, the king is out with some dogs hunting, and the dogs are barking and they scare the princess up a tree, and the dogs go to the base of the tree and bark up at the fair maiden in the tree. And the king looks at her, and I'm not sure why he didn't recognize her as his daughter. Maybe he was away for the whole duration of her growing up, so he may not have known what she looked like. But he looked at her and he was completely enchanted by how beautiful the princess was. So he coaxed her down, and because he was so attracted to her, yes, this is his own daughter that he's attracted to, he asks her to be his companion and his wife. He essentially asks her to marry him. And because the princess cannot utter a single word or make any noises whatsoever, she reluctantly agrees to this. And yes, the marriage does go ahead, and the king essentially marries his daughter. Again, not sure how the king didn't recognize his own daughter. Again, maybe he was away war and doing battles or politics stuff or whatever. And I don't know where the queen went. The queen kind of disappeared halfway through the story. So when the king is married to the princess, or the silent princess rather, a woman tells the king that because she cannot speak or laugh, that she essentially is an evil spirit and that she is no good, and that she will bring him misfortune and ruin. So the king is swayed by this argument, and despite the fact that he still loves her in a romantic way, that is, reluctantly decides that he has to do what this woman has told him to do and kill his new wife. So he ties her up to a stake and has all this wood around her and essentially burns her at the stake, witch style. So as the flames are set and they are rising up and they are licking the princess's dress and consuming her, her brothers, still in crow form, swoop down, and at that very moment, the 7 years are up, so she can freely talk. So when they are swooping down to the ground, she speaks and she makes her voice known and heard, and as soon as her brothers hit the ground, they transform into their human selves. And after they are all fully restored back to their original state, they very, very quickly rescue their sister and release her and free her from this torment. And this is in full view of the king. The king actually sees all of this. And then essentially they live happily ever after. And that's basically how the story ends. So this was a really entertaining story. This was probably the best story that I've actually read so far, as I said. But it was a very weird story. Something that I would never really recommend you to read to a child, as it has murder, child endangerment and incest, as I mentioned before. But I suppose that children's books back in the day were more like gruesome, rather than being like more, I wouldn't say dumbed down or watered down, but what they are essentially now. So yeah, that's just my review for the 12 Brothers. Hopefully this hasn't been too long, and hopefully you found this interesting. I just want to say as well, before I close, that I want to say how grateful I am to anyone and everyone that has watched my video or this video, regardless whether you're subscribed to me or not. It just means so much to me, it really does. So with all that out the way, done and dusted, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.